The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to a New Year's Eve edition of the Phixated podcast. I am your host, always sick, Azzy, and I am joined by my very good buddy and, text message nurse, Regzy Boo. Here we are. Last show of 2023.
I don't know how much of a nurse I was. I just kind of made fun of you for the first 10 minutes of us talking about you being more sick than my children are most of the time.
Listen, you make fun of me for a lot of things, and
I feel like that's not true. I feel like of all the relationships with the guys, I feel like I make fun of many more people more than you.
That's fine. That's fair. Maybe I'm telling myself a story.
Stein's top of the list.
Possible. Oh, well, I mean.
And then Fairbanks, just because I talk to him the second most. And it's fun to poke him. Like, it's just fun to poke the bear a little bit.
Poke that bear all you can.
Yeah. And then it's probably you, because me and you talk the most.
Yeah.
And then really, I don't make fun of Phil because he scares me to this day. And then Josh and Ryan, there's not much to make fun of. They just kind of get to coast by with their handsome faces.
Yeah, they're so good looking.
We did have a lot of fun on the Two-Way Miss podcast talking about seeing your mother again for the first time in a long time.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it's what we talked about for like 20 minutes.
Was that this most recent episode?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I have not gotten there yet since I was sick. So.
Yeah, but the obviously the highlight, I'll spoil it a little bit for you, was she did not remember who Chris Fairbanks was. But that's when we first saw her. But by the end, in front of me, said, "I always thought you were the most handsome." Out of all the friends.
Including my own son.
Including her own son. To which I responded, "He can be the most handsome as long as I'm the favorite."
Which I would venture to say that you are.
I would also, which is why I was fine with the comment.
She actually said to me later that she didn't recognize Banksy because she felt like he had slimmed down or bulked up. I don't remember exactly what she said.
He's bulked up. He hasn't slimmed down. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that he looks. She just said he looks so much more grown up and bulked up, and I was like, "Is that why you said he's much more handsome?"
That's very true. He did have. He's a baby face, really. Like, you look back at those college photos.
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah, you're right.
Out of all of us, he's probably got the biggest baby face out of anybody.
Yeah. Yep. I still think it's hilarious that the first time, he met her before everybody else, the first day of college,
which we also brought up. Your father remembered in an instant that story. Really? Yep, instantly. Looked to his buddy, looked to whoever his friend was, and said, "When I met him, the very first day that we were at Elizabethtown College, he sat down right next to us in the cafeteria." Your father remembered it vividly in an instant without prompting.
Touche. Good job, Tom.
Good job, Tom.
That is hilarious.
We also talked about that in the episode, which is great.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well then. So, love that. Hey, can I tell you, while I did not, because of being ill, cut up our draft video. Dude, so many people texted me about the draft.
Really?
About our Christmas draft.
Yeah.
Christmas movie draft. We got to do more drafts.
Okay.
That's a 2023 thing.
We've done a few of them.
But I think the way we did this one, it wasn't sports centered. I feel like we could
do this for a million things. This is what people don't understand. We could do this on so many things.
That's right. I was like, we should do a movie sequel one. That'd be hilarious.
That's a good one.
Movie sequel, right? Well, I'm going to spend time writing some draft.
I feel like just movies in general we could do.
Yeah, but that gets crazy. You got to genreize them, and because it gets too crazy.
That's true.
You try and do that. So if you have any draft ideas that you'd like for us to
We'll
do.
write this down. We need to start writing down our 2024 goals. So this could be one of them.
This is one of them. We're gonna throw
Listen.
more drafts into it.
If you want to, like I have the Google Doc. We can go back and look at the 2023 ones as well.
Oh, goodness gracious. While you're doing that, can I just say that one of my things in 2020 that I have the opportunity to be very proud of is winning not one, but both of my fantasy football leagues.
Have you officially won them yet, or are you
No, I am
just
in the
predicting this?
championship. I am in the championship for both of them as we speak.
I gotcha.
I do, however, need Jahmyr Gibbs to start having it because this is not cutting it for me right now.
You needed to have
Also-
have a night without having a night.
Yeah, he can have like a 2-score night and they can still lose.
There you go.
That's totally fine.
I like that.
But I would like to point out that Russell Wilson, who I was made fun of on this very show for drafting, led me to the promised land and won't get to play in the freaking championship because he got screwed by his own organization. Now, I will say, I am not angry that he turned down a trade to Philadelphia. As a matter of fact, I'm very thrilled by that decision that he made. That choice will live in infamy. But this dude led me to a fantasy football championship. On the other side of that, ironically, Jalen Hurts is leading me to the other fantasy football championship.
Good for you. This was the worst year of fantasy football. Well, listen, this is only the second year back I've done fantasy football. I took a decade-long hiatus. So this is only my second year back. But after coming back pretty strongly in my sort of rookie debut, this season brought me to earth quickly. The first time I ever get a number 1 pick, and the first time on any fantasy team that I get Justin Jefferson, he's hurt for 7 weeks. The first time ever that I've had Justin Jefferson on my team.
Which is just bad luck.
Yes, I understand, but like, this is what we're talking about. That's how my fantasy football team went. But I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
I still stand by my Russell Wilson take.
Well, that's fine. It was wrong.
Listen, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some.
You got me to the promised land. It's why you don't take quarterbacks early.
Well, yeah. I took Jalen as well, but...
Yeah, but when did you take him?
Oh, man, it was probably like 5th round.
Which I think for him is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like if you already have like a wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2.
Yeah, it
and
was
a running back
after
1.
It was after Justin Jefferson and Devontae.
And you have like a running back 1.
Yeah.
And even like a tight end 1. And you're in a good spot. There's no problem going.
Yeah, I think it was 4th round. It was 4th round after my 2 wide receivers and my running back.
But like this league, then people are taking backup quarterbacks before I took a starter. And you know what? Good for them, because here I am playing in the damn final.
Here you are.
Here I am. All right. Well, you want to talk some Philly sports? Or?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, I guess we have to. It's kind of the name of the podcast, but I enjoy us just talking.
I do too. Before we get into the Sixers, because we're going to start there tonight, I do have to ask you, are you cheering for the Lions or the Cowboys tonight?
I guess I have to cheer for the Cowboys. I understand why I have to. It's unnatural, and I don't necessarily enjoy it. I'd like them to just maybe win by like 2. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need.
If they could tie.
Yeah, let's do that. That works too.
I want to say this, Regz. I think there's like a fine line between cheering for a team and like cheering for a team.
Oh, there's
like,
a huge difference.
You know what I mean? I'm not sitting over here wearing a Dak jersey tonight, nor am I actively cheering for them.
Of course not.
What I'm actively doing is hoping that the Lions lose.
Right. That's all. That's what you're really rooting for.
Because what I keep hearing from people is, well, they can win tonight and then lose next week. They're not losing to the Vikings.
No, they're not.
At home.
Yeah, especially at home.
Stop pretending that's happening.
Yeah.
The Vikings stink.
Yeah, they're not good.
Like, come on now. Like, can we stop with this? And And I'm holier than thou because I will never cheer for the Cowboys. Look, if the Eagles do what they're supposed to do, who cares if the Cowboys win tonight?
Yeah, we're not cheering for
Like,
the
who
Cowboys.
cares?
We're cheering for a Lions loss.
We're cheering for a situation that helps the Eagles dramatically.
Yes.
Dramatically. It means they get 2 freaking home games.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah. It's a
playoffs.
huge difference.
Like, and then I see people saying, well, it really doesn't matter because they're not making a run in the playoffs anyway. Okay, people. Like,
well,
if
yeah,
you're going
we
to
can
say
get
that,
into that.
but if you're going to say that, I don't want you
Well-
running alongside of them. I'll gatekeep the shit out of that.
Well, I might have sent a very similar text message to you not that many days ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
I've been on antibiotics.
It's a good thing you were drugged up and feverish. You don't
All right,
remember.
All right. Well, all right. Well, maybe we can get into that.
All
Then. But
right.
let's start with Maxey and the Sixers here. Because look, still playing good ball right now. Joel's been out. That ankle seems to be harboring him quite a bit.
I have an opinion.
All right. Do you want to give that opinion before we go into Maxey?
Sure, it's very quick. I
Okay.
think looking at their schedule, they decided that these are games he could miss.
Okay.
With the timing of the season, why rush him back for no reason when you're
Sure.
playing the Bulls? Who else? The Pistons. Who else did they beat?
They had
Magic.
the Bulls, they had the Heat, they had the Rockets, they had the Magic.
The Rockets, the Magic. Like, why rush him back for those games? It's not Milwaukee. It's not Boston. It's not like playing the Nuggets or something from the,
Yeah, and as of today, again, I think they're losing at the moment. They are 2-1 through him missing these
That's
games.
what I mean.
And the one came on the back of it. The worst game I've ever seen Tyrese Maxey play.
Yeah.
He was awful. But they did beat the Magic by 10 on the road, 20 on the road, sorry. And then came back in Houston and won by 4 in the game in which Tyrese Maxey dropped 42 points. They're down 8 with 8.5 left in the third. So
I think they looked at it and just said, why, even if it's not bothering him, why risk it? Take the extra time, make sure it's healthy. Like, I think they understand that the entire goal is to get this man healthy,
right,
going into the playoffs, playing the Magic and the Rockets and, Chicago. Like, it doesn't matter. I know the losses don't look great if you look back at the schedule, but then you also go, oh yeah, Embiid missed those games.
Yeah,
if Joel Embiid is on any of these games, they're winning by 25 points.
Right.
So,
and look, if you get through a stretch where Joel doesn't play, if it's a 4-game stretch and he doesn't play, and you're 2-2,
and you're 500 against anybody, yeah, of course.
You feel pretty good. You feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
Because these teams are all, like, I'm pretty sure these teams are all right now, except for Bulls are in the playoffs right now. Magic's in the playoffs right now. So, and who was the other team that we said?
Rockets.
Oh, the Rockets.
And
Rockets
Miami.
are 2 games out. So yeah, Magic and the Bulls are both playoff teams. So you go 2-2 through that, you feel pretty good. Before we jump into Maxey, one other thing, because we often talk about, what move are they going to make? One name that we've talked about on here is OG Anunoby, who got traded today to the Knicks. I don't really know what that trade did for the Knicks. I really don't know, like, what it did to improve them.
I mean, their thinking is OG is a better version of RJ Barrett.
Okay.
That's essentially what it comes down to. I don't think they're necessarily wrong.
Yeah.
But I also don't think necessarily RJ is as bad as people think.
Yeah.
I think the Knicks situation is a little weird for him.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he'll probably play pretty well on this Toronto team. Like, just kind of having the keys to a bad team.
Yeah.
He should be pretty good. But I think generally the consensus is that obviously OG is a better version of RJ Barrett.
Which, yeah,
but I don't know how much it boosts them in terms of I don't know how much better this makes them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm not quite sure on both sides what it really does to improve either team. I could see how it would help the Sixers, I think that he's the type of guy who does push them. Like because what he does is he pushes Melton to the bench. And I think, Melton becomes more productive of a player, I feel like, in that role.
Right.
I don't know what he does for those two teams, but that's not for us to worry about, I guess. It's just at this point you have to ask yourself, okay, so who now? Like, who is it? When I look at the teams in the playoffs and I look at can they beat these teams? Yeah, I believe they can. Like I believe they can beat the Celtics. I believe they can beat the Bucks. I believe they can beat everybody else in the East. And they showed they can beat the best team in the West, at least at the moment. So I don't know, man. Like I don't
mean,
know
for
what
me,
they'll
it's
do.
for me, it's one name, and they're playing him tonight. It's Caruso.
Is it Levine? Oh,
No,
it's Caruso.
it's not Levine at all. No, I
No,
don't want
I was
that
gonna
guy.
say we haven't talked about Levine in that way in a long time. I agree with you. I love Caruso.
I don't want that guy.
We'll see if that's a situation that they. So all right, let's do this then. Not say, please hear us right now. We are not sitting here and saying that we want this to happen. This is just the point of how valuable has Tyrese Maxey become. He's become so incredibly valuable to this team. He's become what we could look at as a potential perennial all-star.
Yeah.
He could be on that all-star team every year for the rest of his career, the way that he's playing at the moment. And that's not a stretch. It's just not.
No, he's been it's almost like it's almost Jalen-esque in his second year.
Mm-hmm.
The jump and his ability. I mean, taking away the Miami game, but like the ability to step up in the moment, play with one of the best players in the league, and not seem overmatched or out of his depth. Like It's been huge.
Yeah. He's been great.
He's been fantastic.
So the question then becomes, are there players in the league that you would trade him for, knowing the window? Right? So you probably have 2 to 3 more years of Embiid at this level.
Yep.
Right? And there are certain guys in this league that you would have to trade him to get. Now, Alex Caruso is not one of those guys.
No.
You don't need to sacrifice Tyrese Maxey to get Alex Caruso. You don't.
No.
But there are other levels of player, other tiers of player that you would. Now, I'm asking Regz this question, and I'll either agree or disagree. And I think in most cases we'll probably agree. We haven't talked about this, but I think it's a pretty straightforward type of question.
Yeah.
The question is essentially like, who would you trade him for? And like the top 20 players out there. Regz pulled up a list. But with those, with the understanding of like long-term plan, and we're not getting into contracts. That's not what we're talking about.
Sure.
I don't know enough about salary cap.
No.
That with the NBA. The NFL, I'm good. The NBA, couldn't even tell you. So I really just want to talk about, like, is this a guy that you would be like, yeah, I could flip him with Tyrese and feel good about where the Sixers would go.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
I'm going to run through very quickly at least the top 20 players in the league right now. And possibly a little more depending on how quickly we go.
I'll stop you if I need you.
Yep, go ahead. So Jokic, yes. Steph Curry, this one we might have different interests to, but I still say yes. Because I think Steph Curry.
I actually say no to the first two, so this is awesome.
Okay. I'm not taking into account like team fit, because I understand putting Embiid and Jokic together makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, so I am in that sense.
Okay, so like if we're doing that, then I'll rephrase my answer.
But honestly, you probably have to trade Embiid to get Jokic anyway.
Okay, yeah, I'm still okay with that. Steph Curry, I'm still a yes.
I'm not.
I am. I think you could potentially win 2 championships in a row with Stephen Curry on this team.
Yeah, because again, I'm even thinking like, all right, so what happens if you don't and you move forward? Like then you got nothing.
That's a fair point, but I'm taking the risk.
Okay.
Steph's playing unbelievably right now.
I know how good he is. I know how great he is, but it's a no.
Number 3 is Joel Embiid. We don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Number 4, Giannis. Yes. Number 5, Luka. Yes.
Yeah. I'm
Number 6,
in on
Jason Tatum. Yes. Number 7, Devin Booker. Yes. Number 8, SGA. Yes. Number 9, Kevin Durant. Yes. Number 10, LeBron James. No.
No.
Number 11, Jimmy Butler. No.
Yeah, I'm a no there. Too.
Number 12, Tyrese Halliburton. This is a very tough no.
I'm actually a yes.
Like this is the one that I'm either way. Like he's playing so well, and he's a little bit taller and a little bit better of a defender. So I completely understand the yes. I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, I'm a yes on that one. I think I'm more of a yes on that.
I'm perfectly
than
fine
I am
with
on
that.
than I am on like SGA, honestly.
SGA is really, really.
I know.
Really
but I'm more fancy on him than I am.
Okay.
Anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I have no problem with that. Anthony Davis, no.
Yeah. No.
Anthony Edwards, yes.
Oh God, yes. He's the reason that I actually thought about it.
Yeah. De'Aaron Fox is a no. I think they do the same thing, and I don't think they're that far apart. Damian Lillard, no. Kawhi Leonard, if we're just talking about real Kawhi Leonard, yes. If we're talking about the Kawhi Leonard right now, probably no.
No.
Bam Adebayo, no. If we're talking about fit. Jamal Murray, yes. Paul George, no.
I don't know that I would do Jamal Murray.
I would.
Yeah, I don't know that I would do Jamal.
He's a proven NBA champion who can can play next to a big man of Embiid's skill.
But is it again? Like I think. Well, they'll have enough cap room. I was gonna say I think he's a free agent. So.
Paul George, no. Domantas Sabonis, no. Zion, no. Donovan Mitchell, no.
I think you're pretty much. Oh, that's actually. You know what? That's what I was thinking of.
There's
Donovan
3 right here that I think would be really interesting. So let me get to 25 because I think it's worth it.
Okay. All right.
Because right now Tyrese is at 27, so we're not that far away from himself.
Okay.
Donovan Mitchell is a no. Jalen Brunson is a no. Jaylen Brown is also a no for me.
Yeah, I got no's on all them too.
And then the only other one is Karl Anthony Towns, and I still say no.
Yeah. So Anthony Edwards was 100% for me. Yeah. And he's the reason why I thought of this. Because I thought of it after the game as I was watching like his post game stuff. And I was like, man, I would love to have him. He's a guy to have to trade Maxey for. Would I be willing to do that? I would.
Yeah. Anthony Edwards is a stud.
Who else would I be willing to do that for? And then I started thinking of this. And I was really only good with like Anthony Edwards, Halliburton. I hesitated on Giannis because you know how I feel about him. And who was my other for sure? Oh, Luka.
Yeah.
Was like I was like 100% yes.
Yeah.
Luka.
My SGA is a lock. Like
yeah, I don't know that I think I'm just a little more gray line there. That's all. But I think this conversation goes to show you like just the bounds he's not going to be a top 30 player for much longer. He's going to be a top 15 player. Just, you know, the game keeps developing in such a way that he's going to continue to leap some of these guys.
I have a little bit of a thought on that. I think it will be difficult for him to remain or to stay in the top 20 without his defense improving.
Okay.
Like when we look at the top 20, it's guys who do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So like when we're just talking about it, like Jokic, great defensive player. Not as good as Embiid, but he's a good defensive player. When we're talking about, you know, Steph might be the one exception here. Not a great defensive player, right? But just a generational scorer of the basketball. Tyrese Maxey, for as good as a scorer as he is, he's not Steph Curry.
Right.
Joel Embiid, a fantastic defensive player. Giannis, a fantastic defensive player. Luka, very much in the realm of Steph. Just a offensive juggernaut that cannot be stopped. And a much better scorer than Tyrese. Tatum, again, defensive. Devin, Booker, same thing. Luka and Steph, like just the same kind of just absolute offensive masterpiece. SGA, two-way, can play both sides. Kevin Durant, at his best, was a unbelievable defensive player.
Yeah.
Same thing LeBron James. Same thing Jimmy Butler. Same thing Tyrese Halliburton. Same thing Anthony Davis. Anthony Edwards can turn it on when he needs to turn it on defensively.
Kid is really good.
De'Aaron Fox, this is probably the closest one you have an argument for. I I'm not sure how much better offensively he is than Maxey, and defensively he's just okay. Damian Lillard, again, the scoring is what sets him apart. Kawhi, an unbelievable defensive player. Bam, great defensive player. Jamal Murray, again, you're getting a little closer to that middle ground. Paul George, great defensive player. Sabonis, great defensive player. Zion, when he's in shape and actually doing things, is a great defensive player. And then, look, when you get into the Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson, Jaylen Brown, this is where Tyrese lives. So this is the 20 to 25, range of player. I think this is exactly where he sits. When you get in the top 20, unless you are a generational scorer of the basketball, most of these guys are also, when they have to be, can be unbelievable defensive players.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking away from him. He's young enough that this can change.
Yeah.
Honestly, it can. He's young enough. He might lack the size, but in terms of his quickness and his basketball IQ, there's no reason he couldn't be a much better defensive player.
All right. This is really funny that we're talking about this because I just saw this tweet come through. And I'm going to read you Tyrese's stats compared to one other player's stats. And I'm going to tell you that this player was not on the list you just read.
Okay.
I'm not going to make you guess it.
I want to see if I can guess it by what you read.
Okay. I'm not really being fair by leaving you in the way that I just left.
That's okay.
All right. So age 23 seasons, Tyrese Maxey, 26.3 points a game. This player, 26.8 points a game. Rebounds, Tyrese Maxey, 3.9. This player, 4.9. Assists, Tyrese Maxey, 6.5. This player, 4.5. Turnovers, Tyrese Maxey, 1.5. This player, 3.5. Field goal percentage, Tyrese Maxey, 46%. This player, 41%. Three-point percentage, Tyrese Maxey, 38.7%. This player, 29%. Lastly, free throw percentage, Tyrese Maxey, 89%. This player, 75%. Any guesses?
I have 3 guesses.
Okay.
Trae Young, John Moran, or Kyrie Irving.
Okay. Here's why it's not fair. I didn't tell you this player plays.
Oh.
Right.
Allen Iverson, then.
It is Allen Iverson. It is Allen Iverson. Yep, Allen Iverson. In his age 23, remarkably close statistics. Allen Iverson. Now, not necessarily fair to make that comparison to AI in Tyrese Maxey's favor, but interesting. That he's at least opening eyes to the idea of, let me pull up Allen Iverson's third-year stats and see how he compares to Allen Iverson in his third. That's the jump that this kid has made. So it'll be interesting to see how it continues moving forward for him, because I think we all have very high hopes for the jump he can continue. In terms of the Sixers, here's where they're at. They do not play again after tonight until Tuesday. They play the Bulls at home. And then not until Friday after we speak again against the Knicks at home. So only one game between now and time talking. They're down by 9 heading into the fourth quarter. Let's see who is doing what tonight. Maxey leads the team with 18 points tonight. Followed by Tobias with 13.
Classic Toby
11.
game.
Yep, Oubre with 11, and then Batum and Melton both have 9.
Yeah, just not enough scoring from those guys to be close.
No. Down by 9, though, going into the fourth. You never know. The NBA is a game of runs, my friend.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll obviously catch you up on Sixers stuff if anything occurs between now and Thursday. There's only one game, so you might hear us kind of jump over. Gonna jump into the Phillies here. Just a halftime update. Real barn burner in Dallas tonight, 7-3 at half. Both teams really locked in for this game. Hey, gotta ask you, 7 o'clock tonight, Phillies yearbook released on YouTube. Are you gonna watch it?
Yeah, I'm currently 41 minutes in as of pausing to record this podcast.
Got you. Got you. I don't know if I can watch it, Rex.
Like I said, I'm not promising that I don't turn it all off after the Atlanta series highlights and just don't bother with the next, with the last 15 minutes of it. But this is where we're at.
How is it so far? You enjoy?
I guess someone else tweeted this. I think it was like Absolutely Hammered or one of those like Phillies comedy accounts. But like, God, I just fucking love baseball so much that like just anything to go back through the season. I think I went back and watched like all the home runs they hit in the postseason the other day. Like for no reason. It just like popped up on YouTube and I was like, yeah, I'll watch that.
Yeah.
God, I just love it so much.
There's like the Cody Clemens walk off that probably shows up on there.
The Trey Turner standing like we're about to get
the 3 home runs from.
I'm about to get into August. I'm about to get into August. So like where they're just gonna mash. You know what I mean? So I'm just getting to that point. So I know what's coming and I'm gonna feel good about it.
Then maybe every Philly fan should watch it because right now people are losing their damn.
Watching Castellanos in the All-Star uniform is a little tough, knowing how like the second half went.
The season ended.
It's a little tough, especially watching him and Kimbrel. So that wasn't the most fun.
That irony.
Yeah.
That irony.
That wasn't the most fun, knowing what's coming. What did I say on the show?
Kimbrel made a mistake of not blowing the save in the All-Star game.
He did. You were absolutely right.
Brad Lidge blew it in the All-Star game.
Yeah. So
all right. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow morning.
I think deep in your heart, you're gonna watch it.
Dude, I did not watch all of last year's.
Really?
Yeah.
I did. It still wasn't fun. But
it seriously breaks my heart.
I didn't watch the Jordan home run. I fast forwarded.
Ball went really long.
That's still the longest ball I think I've ever seen in my whole life.
Yeah, ball went it looked like a fly ball at first.
It did. And then
watching Marsh,
it kept going.
Yeah. Some say it still hasn't.
It might have. It might still be going. I'm not sure.
Some say it still hasn't landed.
Yeah.
All right. So listen, here's the thing. People are in full on panic because the only thing the Phillies have done to this is bring back Jake Cave and bring back Aaron Nola. And I wanted to take a moment and just remind people that Dave Dombrowski was really upfront in saying that most of their moves are going to be January moves. He's waiting for people to bring their price tag down.
Yeah.
The price tags on these guys are out of control right now.
Crazy.
Josh Hader is asking for money more than what Edwin Diaz made. That's not happening. I texted you the other day about going back. They have to give up a lot in terms of international bonus money, in terms of draft picks. And to me, a closer is just not.
Yeah.
It's just not. So you go get somebody like Stevenson from the Rays and call it a season, right? Like, or you make a trade for somebody.
Yeah.
These are the things that I think Dombrowski's looking at. This team is already built to win. Regz, they're in my eyes, if not, they're a top 3 team in the National League. They're a top 3 team in the National League. There's nobody better than them except arguably the Dodgers and the Braves.
Yes.
And I put them right there with the Braves.
Well,
the
clearly
Braves have had the strangest offseason I've ever seen them.
Yeah. And they can't beat the Phillies in the playoffs. Right.
But like today with the Chris Sale trade, I mean, do something, Dave. Dave, we got to do something. We're not going to compete. We're not going to compete with who?
Yeah.
The Marlins, the Nationals.
Yeah.
The Mets.
I think you said it perfectly before we started recording that this was a 90-win baseball team who didn't have Bryce Harper fully healthy for half of it, who didn't have a real Trey Turner for more than half of the season, still won 90 games, still made it to the NLCS.
And let's not forget, like Ranger Suarez was injured for 2 months. They didn't have a 5th starter because of Painter being for 2 months or being out for the year until they brought up Chris Sanchez in June.
Right. We were playing Jake Cave and Derek Hall and Cody Clemens like
every
at first
day.
base. Yeah. Sosa every day. Yeah.
And Kyle Schwarber was running around,
Right.
right? Which might have potentially hindered his ability to hit. Like, now he's a perennial slow starter, so maybe not. But like, even so, just like that whole thing is a conversation that needs to be had. They were missing Alvarado and Sir Anthony for stretches at a time.
Yeah.
Well, Gregory Soto wasn't a pitcher that I think he's going to be this year because
I think Rob, like whatever stick up his butt Rob had about Soto, which I still don't really understand his usage. Like, I just think that guy's going to be utilized a lot more.
I really believe, Regs, it was training.
Yeah, maybe
that he had. The guy got here like a week before the season.
Yeah.
He had no spring training. He just never felt like he found. Again, I'm not saying that, he didn't have his issues, because he did, and they were the same issues he had while he was in
Detroit.
Detroit. Thank you. But now they get their hands on him for a full.
Yeah.
Like, they get to do with him what they got to do with Alvarado.
Yeah.
So, if they can like keep Alvarado's, wildness under control.
Yeah.
They can probably do that with Gregory Soto, who was a far more effective pitcher.
Yeah.
When he was in Detroit. So.
And a down year from Sir Anthony.
Right.
An off season with Orion at the major league level.
Yeah.
Hoffman hopefully stays, I don't expect Jeff Hoffman to be as good as he was, but even if he's 85% as good as he was, like, cool. Perfect. Is he a better like Brogdon? Yes.
Here are the things that wouldn't surprise me. Will they go get a reliever? Absolutely.
Yes.
They're absolutely putting another reliever.
Yeah.
Your stars. They need at least one more righty. They have to replace Kimbrel's like 60 innings.
Yes.
Like that just doesn't, like, you can't depend on Orion Kirkland to do that. Like, you cannot do that. So they're going to add another reliever. Breathe. There are plenty of those guys out there. Like, breathe. They're going to add a starting pitcher. They've made it very clear that they want another starter. They absolutely want another starter. I don't think they want to go into this year with Christopher Sanchez as the 5. I believe that fully, that they want to have him as depth. They want him as depth. That's who they think he is. And now maybe not. He started an NLCS game. Maybe I'm wrong about it. But I do believe, or maybe they're trying to get out the Walker contract. But something tells me they're adding a starter. And yes, they're going to add a left fielder. It's not going to be a left fielder that you all are praying and pining for. Because I do believe that they believe in Johan Rojas. That article with Alex Coffey it screams at me as something Phillies were like, hey, this kid now. We want to get it out there.
I also think it's very similar to like an NBA team who looks at the market and says, someone will be unhappy halfway through the season. Think, like, so many things can happen before the trade deadline.
Right.
Like, and the prices that people are asking now aren't going to be the same at the trade deadline. If this contending team or that contending team has more injuries than they thought. Like, all these things are a factor. And, like, look, let's be honest. Having Johan Rojas play the first 3 months of a season are very different than relying on him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So if we just have to have him as the 9 hitter for 3 months, it's not going to affect the win total of this team that much. It's not. It's just not. We saw that he could handle himself in the regular season. Like,
so
it's a big difference. And I just think that with the prices people are asking, they just are doing the smart thing, holding back, and they're going to see what happens. They're going to see what happens. Something always happens. It's baseball. Something always happens.
I mean, especially baseball off season.
Yes.
Like, baseball off season is the most random, and like it forces you to have the most patience.
Yeah.
Of literally any sport that you can possibly imagine. You know how much it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Like, I make it no secret how much I love baseball. but I absolutely despise baseball's offseason.
Yeah.
It's the worst. It is the absolute worst of all the offseason. Because of what we have to do in terms of so let me just some of the names we just rattled off there. Trey Turner signed with the Phillies on December 8th, right? But there was no doubt
Yeah.
they were in the shortstop market. December 16th is when they got Taijuan Walker last year. So, we're about 2 weeks removed from that. Okay. But they needed a starter.
Yes.
Do they need one right now? Absolutely not. They could go into the year with what they have.
No. Say what you will, but signing Nola was the best option.
Yeah.
That's out there.
And look, they're still working on a Wheeler extension. They've come out and said that. They're still trying to get him to take an extension.
Do we talk about didn't you send me something about Wheeler?
Yeah, we talked about it last time.
Did we? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. But here's the other two that I think it's important to mention. On January 7th, he traded for Gregory Soto. On March 31st, he signed Jeff Hoffman to a minor league contract. Guys, breathe. It's okay. This is a really good team.
Yeah, just if nothing else, just think about what we just talked about. You had a nobody Trey Turner for half a season. You didn't have Bryce Harper willing to swing hard enough to hit home runs for what, 2.5 months?
Till August.
like just think about just the difference in those two guys.
He had 4 home runs going into the month of August.
Just think about the difference in just those two guys.
Yes. And you have a Brandon Marsh with confidence. You have Bryson Stott with confidence. Like, here's the thing. I'm okay with signing a Duvall type.
Yeah.
And letting Johan Rojas get the reps in center field. I'm good with it. I'm good with it. He hit .096 in the postseason last year. I don't think it gets worse than that. They got to fix his pitch recognition.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you got to do.
They got to shorten his swing up.
Well, but some of that comes with his recognition. Some of that just comes with his ability to recognize pitches because you're not going to be as long when you know when you're able to recognize.
Sure.
And here's the thing: he's early enough in his career you can do that. Like I've talked about before, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Nick Castellanos is Nick Castellanos. You can absolutely teach a 23-year-old how to be more selective.
Yeah. Here's the only thing I really do think about going into the season. I need Brandon Marsh to play every day.
Yeah.
He proved it enough. Yeah. I'm not saying I understand not every day. I get it. He's not like a stud that has to play every single game. But
you want to see him out there
with the options that they have, right? With the options that they have right now, there's no reason Brandon Marsh shouldn't be playing as much as possible.
What you could do is if you want to go get a potential right-handed bat that can slide into left field and he can slide into center field when you're righty, so that way Rojas isn't hitting against dudes who can blow him away, or he's not playing every day. You can rotate your field a little bit. Cool. That's what I think you can do with Duvall. Duvall can go out there, get you 200, 250 at bats.
Yeah. I just think I agree with you. I think the guy rotating in and out should be Rojas.
Right.
And Marsh should be, like you said, even if it's a tough lefty, get that righty bat for left field and leave Marsh in the lineup.
Well, I'm even okay if you're facing a dude I can't think of somebody I can't think of a tough lefty for some reason. But like in his prime Clayton Kershaw type. Sit him.
Yeah. Sure.
But they definitely need to improve their bench. That's been a bugaboo for them. Right now, we've talked about, your bench is virtually Jake Cave, Garrett Stubbs, and I think Edmundo Sosa.
Yeah.
You got to bolster that bench a little.
Yes.
In some way, shape. Still keep my fingers crossed for Whitmer. But who knows? All right. So everybody breathe. It's fine. It's fine. Everyone, it is fine. Okay, let's talk. Let's move to unless there's something else.
Nope. I'm good.
Time for the Birds.
Yes.
Detroit has the ball on Dallas's 37 here. Still a 7-3 game, half. So that's still happening. All right, so let's talk about why we care about this. The seeding is still up in the air right now. As of this moment, the Eagles are tied at the top of the NFC with both the Lions and the Niners. However, if all three teams went out, the Eagles drop to the 3rd seed. They would be guaranteed one home playoff game. And then after that, it would all depend on wins and losses within the rest of the postseason. The Niners, for clear reasons. I believe the reason that the Lions hold it is because of their records against the NFC. I think that's where the tiebreaker comes into play with it.
Interesting.
I think the Lions have less losses in NFC than the Eagles do at this point. I think the Eagles have 3 NFC losses, whereas the Lions only have 2 of their losses against the NFC. I don't quote me, but I didn't look closely at why. I think that's what it is.
Okay.
The Cowboys and the Eagles, if the Eagles win out, they're in. No matter what the Cowboys do, they win the division. If the Cowboys win out and the Eagles lose just one game, the Eagles win the Cowboys win the division. So a lot of people tonight are split. It is really so. Let's do this now. If the Niners lose one, the Lions win out and the Eagles win out, the Niners drop to the 3 seed. Eagles step into the 2. The Lions step into the 1. Okay. If the Lions lose one, the Niners lose one, and the Eagles win out, the Eagles are now the 1. So tonight matters a lot for seeding.
Yeah.
And it's why we're sitting here like, all right, if the Cowboys win, great. Now, if the Lions win, also fine, whatever, because you can still slide into that 2 seed one way, somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And everything's okay. It looks like right now the Lions might take the lead. They have the ball 1st and 10 on the Dallas. So they were down here before and didn't score. So we'll see what happens. So that's the seeding situation right now. The Eagles need to win out and let everything else sort of happen.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that they wouldn't have to play anybody next week, but they're going to have to. They're going to have to. Now, could they be, if they win by enough tomorrow and get some of their swag back, it's very possible that the Giants are going to want to pack their shit and get going to the postseason and to their off season, and maybe the Eagles can sit some people in the second half. But at this point, they're gonna have to play everybody.
Yeah.
Which sucks. Because unless the Cowboys lose tonight, the Eagles win tomorrow, and they're not worried about seeding, then they can sit people next week.
Right.
They can absolutely do that. That's a possibility. All right. Do you want to move into my bold predictions, a quick giant recap, or my homework that I did over the last week?
Let's do predictions, giant recap, homework.
That's the way I had it written down. That works out really well. Okay. The bold predictions. We have not talked about them in a while. And guys, they're not good. They're not good. This is not a great year for my
Listen,
bold prediction.
nobody's perfect, buddy. Everything's fine.
Yeah, well, we've had much better years.
Touchdown
Touchdown
Detroit.
Who scored? Freaking Montgomery.
Yeah.
Gosh, I needed
you needed a Gibbs touchdown.
I really needed a Gibbs touchdown since, they're not letting my all-star quarterback play. Gosh darn it, Regz. Regz, I can't find my freaking prediction.
Oh, no.
I know they're in here.
They're in there somewhere.
Yeah, they're in this
It's
one.
been a while.
I know, but I feel like I'm paging through the same stuff here, and I'm not finding them for some reason. Here's our game predictions. But for some reason, I'm not fine. I'm not lying to y'all. I'm not trying to like
Oh
fake
man.
this. Maybe we should talk about the Giants game while
All
I
right,
search.
we can do that.
Let's do that because I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm not
So
sure.
I don't know. So I'll take it from I'll take it a little bit while you keep
go
looking
ahead.
at that. But
Look.
here's what I think is an interesting. You could
I
be
found
one
it.
side or the other. Oh fuck! Right, we're about to talk about it. All
Yeah,
right, go back
ahead.
to it. We didn't get that far into it. Just go.
All right. Found it. Okay, so we hit the Sirianni hot mics really early.
Oh yeah, that's a given.
We hit the cheesesteak at halftime.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we were 2 for 2 on that. All right, how many total yards does Kenny Gainwell have? Because this might still be in play.
Probably more than you think.
This might be in play. This could very much be in play. I apologize that I'm not as prepared for this. Regz wanted me to do this as we were
484.
It's not in play.
You had like 700 something, didn't you?
I had 750.
Yeah, that's not
it's
happening.
not in play. Because I said regular season.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
not happening.
All right, so definitely not there. Quest Watkins.
Oh my god, just cross it off. Just
600 yards.
Just red pen that shit right now.
Quest has 49 yards this year. For those counting at home, we are done with Quest.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not even gonna be on the team.
For the love of God, please.
It doesn't matter. He's not gonna be on the team.
He's done enough, hasn't he?
So
Dropping our
Sidney Brown
Super Bowl
starting by week 5 isn't happening. But
he's
I will
playing
say
a very strong amount.
he is playing a lot.
He needs to
is
like
playing
cool it a little bit.
No. What needs to happen is someone just has to teach the kid like harness.
Yes,
like,
but that's what I mean. I should have phrased it better.
I don't want him to cool it.
Okay, I should have phrased it better. There are times to do that, and there are but there are times to do it, and there are times to just like walk away.
Yeah, it's fine. I just love the way he plays. I mean, I love the way he plays. Yeah, breaking the all-time sack record, not gonna happen.
No, it's not.
So that's that.
What do they have, like 4 sacks in the last 4 weeks?
Yeah, I think they have like 38 total or something.
Mother of God, the regression is real.
Yeah. So we are 2 for we are 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are 2 for 7 right now. Jalen winning the MVP, not gonna happen.
Yeah, probably not.
2 for 8. They did not sweep the NFC East.
Nope.
They have a chance to go 5-1 there, so 2 for 8. Good job, Mike. Jalen Carter winning Defensive Rookie of the Year, still very much in play.
Yes.
Still very much in play. Actually, he leads in Vegas odds.
Oh, well, there you go. Again, I don't know enough about all the rest of them. I think the New England kid probably would have won, but he got hurt.
Yeah.
Gonzalez, right? Was that his name?
Yeah, the corner.
The corner. Yeah, he was like playing really well.
Playing really well. So
also, that just brought up to me like, God damn it, Kyle Hamilton's really good. God.
Yeah.
Like, jeez.
That was the Jordan Davis pick.
Yes.
That's the Jordan Davis pick.
Mm-hmm.
I still would take Kyle Hamilton.
That's what I said. Hindsight, having Kyle Hamilton would be pretty sweet right now.
Oh.
Like, that dude's the next freaking Ed Reed. Like,
look,
he's
what
unbelievable.
I used to say to people watching him at Notre Dame was like, it's like having defenders on the field.
Did you see him get pancaked and get back up to make the interception?
Yeah. Oh, don't worry though. Listen, you ask a 49er fan, Brock Purdy really only threw one in that game.
Sure.
Just one.
Sure he did.
Just one. So Jalen Carter, I'm not Xing yet. I'm not Xing the number 1 seed yet, and I'm not Xing the Super Bowl yet.
Okay.
So let's hope I can come back strong and maybe go 5 for 12 here. It wasn't great, Regz. Here are the things that weren't as far off, right? If they go 5-1 in the NFC East, that's not terribly
that
far off. If they end up the number 2 seed, not terribly far off. I want to see where Jalen lands in the MVP vote. Like,
he'll be top 4.
I think he's gonna be top 4 or 5. So again, not terribly far off. Sidney Brown is not terribly far off. The sack record, very far off.
Very
Quiz Watkins, very far.
Yeah, the rest of them we don't need to talk about.
Now, Kenny Gainwell, hold on for a second.
It's close-ish.
Kenny could get to like 550, which would leave him like 200 yards short. Which isn't like, considering how they run their backfield, not awful.
Yeah, sure.
And my other one that I didn't mention, I had Devontae leading the NFC in receiving yards. Well, he's not doing that. He was 1,000 yards.
He did have 1,000 yards. Yeah.
And he's probably going to end up close to like 1,200, 1,300 yards this year.
Yes.
1,300 is aggressive. That would mean he would need 150 yards in the next 2 weeks. Don't think that's happening. Anywho, those are those.
Those are those.
Let's talk about the Giants.
Okay.
Go ahead and say what you were going to say.
I don't even remember what I was going to say.
Well, I'll start then. I'll go.
Oh, now I remember. Sorry, I brought it back. Go ahead.
Go for it.
All right. I was listening to Go Birds, and James and Elliot were having a debate about. James was very much on the side of this team has not proven that we should give them the benefit of the doubt this season because they continue to make 4 or 5 plays a game that make these games closer than they have to be for no reason. And if you want to talk about a team that your expectation is that they win the Super Bowl, this is not that team. Elliott was on the side of, like, look, they're dominating most of these games. And yes, you can't excuse the fact that 4 or 5 plays a game are really bad and, like, inexcusable. But for the most part, they're still playing very well. So I'm curious which side of that you land on.
So I land on the side of I still think they're playing really good football. Let's think to the games with which I would say they did not play. Okay? The games they didn't play good football, and I'm going to go back to the beginning of the year. I'm going to run through it real quickly. I thought they played good football in New England. I thought they dominated that game outside of like the fourth quarter. I thought they played good football. It was a shitty weather game against a head coach who had a lot of time to prepare for him. I thought they played good football. I thought they played really good football against the Vikings. Again, Vikings scored a couple of times late, but I thought they dominated that game start to finish. Played really good football in Tampa Bay. I thought that was good football. Didn't play good football against Commanders both games. Simple as that.
No.
Just didn't play good football against Commanders.
For some reason.
Yep. Played good football against the Rams in the second half, especially. Thought it got really good against the Rams in the second half. Pass rush got home on Stafford the whole second half.
Yeah.
Did not play good football against the Jets. So that's 2-3 games of we're jumping the gun a little bit to the Commanders again. Played really good football against the Dolphins.
Yes.
All right. So 4 so far. I thought they dominated that Cowboy those part at home. That last quarter, they were down at half. Played a really good third quarter.
Yeah.
And then played a really tough last 6 minutes.
Yes.
But I wouldn't call that a bad game. I would call that like in the middle. The Chiefs and Bills. This is where people are going to say they didn't play well. They definitely didn't play well in the first half of the Chiefs game.
Yes.
They didn't. It was awful. Second half, I thought they played better, especially offensively. Did they catch some breaks? Yes. God. But goodness gracious, the Chiefs caught breaks in the Super Bowl. So I don't care. Breaks happen.
Yes.
They just happen.
No, not worried. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that.
The Bills game, I thought they played really well offensively. I thought Josh Allen played his ass off.
Well, yeah.
Yes. But they scored 37, and that's what this offense needs to do. Niners, Cowboys, terrible games.
Terrible.
So that's 6 games, right? Seahawks, they should have won the game. They had one awful defensive possession. Otherwise, they should have won the game. They dominated the game for 3 quarters and 1 possession, or 3 quarters and 14 minutes. They dominated that game.
How many points did they score?
Who?
The Eagles.
The Eagles? 20 in that game.
17.
17, sorry. They gave up 20.
That's not enough.
It's
against
not
a Seattle defense that is not good.
That's a really hard place to play too, though. Like, I keep going back to, like, people aren't really statistically I shouldn't say statistically. PFF put out something the other day, schedule-wise, that the Eagles played the most difficult 6-game schedule in NFL history. No one wants to talk about it. Like it's just oh, they're not good. They are effing 11-4 right now. With this schedule, they are 11-4. What, like, why are we such an angry fan base that we can't just look at it and say, you know what, they're 11-4. They've had their struggle. Regz, give me an NFL team right now who's not flawed. Give me one.
Who is flawless?
Who's not flawed. Who is not
Oh, who's not flawed.
I can think of potentially one that I would say when I watch them play, they don't have a flaw. And that's the Ravens.
Yeah, but they do.
What is it though?
I mean, their running backs aren't great.
Yeah, but he makes them great.
Yes, Lamar Jackson does, but
he makes them great. I mean, the Eagles running backs, I wouldn't say they're great. I think Swift's really good.
We need to see Lamar Jackson do it in the playoffs. But that's that's a different conversation.
For sure. But like every team is flawed. The Chiefs don't have anybody who can catch the ball.
Yeah.
Right? They don't have anybody who can catch the ball. Like Josh, maybe the Bills right now, maybe they're not flawed. They seem to be playing really good football.
I still think they're not like without
their defense. Their defense is you can run the ball on them. The Eagles showed that you can run the ball on them.
Yeah.
Dallas, you can run the ball on them. They don't have a receiver outside CeeDee Lamb. They can't run the ball.
Yeah.
Their offensive line is banged. The Niners' flaw is the guy that throws the ball. Because when they're losing, he's not useful.
Yeah.
They literally had to run the ball down 2 scores because they could not get back in the game with him throwing. Every team has flaws, guys. This is not just the Eagles. It's not. And truly, the Eagles' flaws might actually start to patch themselves up if the coaching staff will look themselves in the mirror come playoff time and say, James Bradbury's not playing.
Yeah. So
we're not starting him.
I think that's the key. Like if we want to really hone in on something, let's just start. Completely agree with everything you just said. Is it frustrating? Yes. Is it annoying that this team seems to have these large sways back and forth between being very good and being very bad?
They're not without blame.
No,
I'm not here to say that.
I think the biggest key is the current inability of this coaching staff to come up with solutions to the very obvious problems.
Yeah.
There are 2 that I think are very key. 2 on offense and then defense we can get to, but those we kind of saw coming. So we'll talk about that second. Number 1, a counter to a 6 or 7 man blitz.
Yeah.
We, for some reason, have just refused to be like, oh, that's something teams do a lot. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
Let's not do anything different and see how it goes. Inexplicable and inexcusable from a coaching staff perspective. Number 2, Ben Solak continues to tweet these pictures out of like the pass charts for Jalen Hurts. Everything is from the hash marks and out.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't get it.
With the receiver talent that they have, not only in the outside, but Dallas Goedert, who is a menace.
Yeah.
It's inexcusable.
Yeah.
Those 2 things are inexcusable from a coaching standpoint. And to look at something so simple, like sometimes you might be able to say like, oh, well, they're NFL coaches, like they know more than you. You're right 95% of the time.
Yeah.
I grant it. You win. I have no argument against that. I'm not an NFL head coach or offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
But if I can pull it up in a simple graphic that even a dummy like me, who has never played a snap of actual football in his entire life, like if it's that simple for a dummy like me to figure out, you should be able to understand it too and to figure out a way to fix it.
Can I just comment on those real quickly before you go?
Yes, of course you can.
All right. The first one being what you just said, which is like the route trees that we keep seeing.
Yeah.
I actually saw, and I don't think it was Solak. I actually think it was somebody who tweeted a video of the different route trees in the NFL.
Yeah, mine was just a graphic. Yeah, so.
Yeah, so these are no. It was a graphic, like a video though, and saying, look at the different routes.
Yes.
And look at the middle of the field. And then what they did at the end, they started with AJ Brown this year, like the different route tree that he ran last week. Everything was outside the number. The dude ran nothing in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Not
Which is
one
absurd.
thing. Yeah. The only play they ran in the middle of the field was a touchdown.
Shocking.
But then at the end, they showed his route tree for one of his games last year. And he had like 4 routes that brought him to the middle of the field. And 2 of them ended up being touchdowns. So, yes, definitely need to exploit the middle of the field a little bit more. One thing that I want to mention as a positive, and hopefully this isn't just it was a giant. They ran the ball out of the pistol this week. I talked about it on last week's show that I wanted to see them try and run the ball out of the pistol. And they did it, and they were very successful. The other thing they were very successful doing that we haven't seen them do a lot was running out of 12 and 13 personnel. They had 2 tight ends or 3 tight ends on the field. I think it was 12 times in passing situations. And Jalen was 11 for 12 in those situations. 11 for 12 for over 125. If it works, use it. Go with 2 tight ends. Put Grant Calcaterra on the field.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. But it clearly works for him.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to talk about that you mentioned was the blitz. What they tend to do in these blitz packages, they do one of 2 things. They either move into a wide receiver slip screen, which never works, or they drop Jalen back. He backpedals, throws it up, or backpedals and tries to run away from it.
Yes.
What I'd love to see them do, just one freaking time to counter this blitz. One time, Regz. One time. Is swing the running back out.
Yeah.
And dump it to him in space.
Right.
Just one time.
Right. Give him a chance for whatever safety has to cover him. Yeah.
One time. And he makes a safety miss.
Yeah.
And goes for 45, 50 yards.
Right.
They're not sending it next time.
Yep. But again,
right
to have never done something like that is inexcusable.
Yeah. There's no answer right now. And I agree with you. Those are the 2 things that frustrate me a lot. I do think that they made the one small pistol. I appreciated that. I really did. But now we need to make the next. These are the teams to make the changes against. Look, if there was a reasoning that they went through those 6 and they were like, we're not going to make these adjustments right now because these are not the teams you make the adjustments against. I can get behind that, Regz. I can say, you know what? Make them and do them in the playoffs against teams. But things are still super vanilla. So if I don't start seeing more throws, or if I don't start seeing changes to ball, like if I see one more freaking slip screen, one more wide receiver screen in a blitz, I'm going to start probably cutting my own fingers off, Regz.
You'll never convince me that that's a good play to run.
It's just, especially not in a blitz. It's just not.
Ever.
All right, talk to me about your defensive.
The defensive thing is very much in line with what you said. Is like Bradbury has to not be on the outside with speedy receivers.
Right. I just can't be out there, period.
There's no way. They have no one on the roster to like fix their linebacker position in the middle of the field. There's just nobody there that can do it. You can't get torched all the time.
Right.
Just because a guy is fast.
But I want to say this about the linebacker situation. I feel like again, in this week's game, Morrow he didn't play this week. I'm sorry. It was the week before. Morrow was the highest rated player on the defense 2 weeks ago.
Yes. But look, I think just overall at the season, I think I'm just looking at like.
I get it. I will tell you who I liked watching the tape. Ben Van Sumeren.
He was
I'm going to tell you
flying around, yeah.
I'm going to tell you. Well, the speed was never a question with him. It was whether or not he could play a linebacker. He didn't do it for like, I think it was 2021. Like the kid wasn't a linebacker. But he's a fun little project, and I think he's probably your next like TJ Edwards situation.
Side note, they have to not play Nolan Smith as their drop linebacker.
Yeah, he's not.
He's not supposed to do that.
No.
And why they did it like 3 or 4 times last game.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand it. But
he
anyway,
gets lost there. But I'm anxious to see. I think he's going to play a little bit more moving forward. Shaq Leonard played really well this week. Like, he played really well. I mean, this is the best he looked in a while on tape. It looks like Morrow's playing this week. I think Cunningham's doubtful.
Yeah.
But Morrow's back this week, which is nice. Before I jump into the Bradbury thing, two things about what you mentioned before about the bonehead stuff. The first being the turnover on the kick return.
Yeah.
Regz, there have been a million kick returns in NFL history. I've watched a ton of NFL games. Literally never happens. So I'm throwing that out with the baby out with the bathwater.
But it's just like it's like, oh yeah, this team, right? It's like, oh yeah,
yeah. And
we're
this,
gonna
you could say the
figure
same
out
thing
ways.
you could say the same thing for Dallas Goedert falling down too.
Right.
But
No,
like,
I'm much more like, that is what it is.
Yeah.
Because that, like, you don't, like, how many times is he gonna fall down?
That's what I mean.
In that situation.
It's just not.
So
it's just not.
So that part I'm not worried about.
Right. So okay. So and then so both of them. Okay. So the Bradbury thing. Keely Ringo looks like he's gearing up to play all the snaps. Like they just continue to boost his snaps each week. Like he was splitting, and then last week I think he played 85% of the snaps. Hopefully he plays 100% tomorrow. Because I do think that they need to consider letting him play full bore when the time comes. I would love a secondary going into the postseason of Darius Slay, Keely Ringo, and Avonte Maddox, who is back tomorrow. I think that secondary it's a total change. Ringo is he's a totally different beast than what we've had at corner over the last, I don't know, 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
And Slay's still playing at a decent enough level that I feel comfortable with him over there. Maybe off of the knee injury, not so much.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know,
but
man.
If this is clearing up some pain and discomfort he's been having, maybe he comes back better.
For sure. But I think, you Bradbury maybe comes and plays inside in dime packages.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. Because he is just not, I mean, again, the last 2 weeks against the Seahawks and then against the Giants, every completion was to James Bradbury.
Yeah.
On the last possession. Every one. Keely Ringo, I think, was targeted 7 times in this game, and 2 of 7 they were against him.
Yeah.
And I think it was for like 8 yards or something like that.
Yeah.
Like this kid's really talented. Yeah. And when AJ Brown says that you're a future Pro Bowler, like, listen, like, this is for real.
Yeah. I think the last thing is, like, this D-line just has to play better.
Yeah, they have their moments, but it needs to be, right now it's Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham.
Right. Are playing the best. Yeah. You're right.
So
like Sweat and Reddick have to step up.
They don't have depth out there.
They just have to.
I can't believe that I'm saying what I'm saying. But, like, do they actually miss Barnett? Like,
I think the playing time with Smith is just being used wrong.
Yeah.
Like, the kid, I know the kid isn't the strongest and he just gets eaten up every so often. But, like, he's flying around at least. Like, he's going to get off the block and he's going to fly downfield if he has to make a tackle. Like, he's just going to be out there flying around. Like, just let the kid fly around a few times.
Yeah.
Like, a few more times. You know what I mean? Like,
they're cutting snaps on Davis and
on purpose. They're trying to get those guys rest.
Yeah, they're trying to get them rest for the postseason. That's all.
And Carter,
especially Carter, because
he only played like 19 last game.
Yeah, this is unbelievable what he's dealing with in terms of like rookie fatigue.
Yeah.
Okay, so our good friend John Gannon comes in tomorrow. Nick says he wants him to feel uncomfortable. I don't think that'll be.
Yeah.
I think Eagle fans will make sure he feels very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The Eagles are 12-point favorites. It would be really nice to get one blowout win.
Yes, it would.
Like, just one that just feels like
everything clicks, everything goes right.
Here they are. Like, here they are. I do think they're capable of that. I will say Kyler Murray, he's capable of like
ruining
magician
it.
type
Yes.
plays. You know, I don't know that I could tell you who their top receiver is, if I'm being honest with you.
It's their tight end, I think.
Yeah, who could be a problem for that? McBride.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 743 yards. Outside of that, it's Marquise Hollywood Brown and then Del Moore.
So unfortunately, guys that are just fast, which is a bugaboo for
Right,
one of
but,
our outside corners.
yeah, it is. He'll be 15 yards off the ball tomorrow. So we'll see. They again 12-point favorites with a 48.5 point total on the line here. So we'll do what we always do, man. Key to the game and prediction. We'll go back to what we've done in the past. You do both, and
Yeah,
we'll go from there.
my key to the game is the defensive line getting home and containing Kyler Murray. I get it; they're not going to contain him all game. I understand that. I'm going into this knowing there's going to be some plays where he just breaks out and does Kyler Murray things. It's going to happen, but with that, he tends to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. So, like, you need to get home and you need to bring him to the grass. Like, they need to get those outside guys need to get back on track this game. That's my key. If that happens, I'm hoping for a 28-14 win.
Okay. I just want the offense to explode. Like I so badly need the offense to just go off.
Yeah.
I need a big Jalen game. I need a big AJ game. I need a big DeAndre game. Like I just need the offense to explode.
Yeah.
And get some confidence going. I felt like they had a little bit more confidence. Did put up 30 points. They looked good in certain ways. They were struggling in others. But I did feel better about the offense last week. So I think they put up more if Dallas doesn't slip and they don't have that fumble.
Well, yeah.
Like I think you probably end up with 5 points.
Yeah.
So I've got 38-13 as the final tomorrow.
Okay.
38-13. So we'll see. And we'll be back for one more regular season preview before we get into season round.
Yep.
So Regz, our last episode of 2023, we're not really doing a fixated. I'm just gonna, you wanted to about this.
I did. I got an email from our hosting website, a little Phixated podcast recap for 2023. So I thought it'd be fun to go through it.
I love it.
All right. Just a couple stats here that I think would be fun to go through.
Okay.
67 episodes, 1.29 episodes per week. We wanted to be more consistent. I feel like that is right on the money for us.
That does it. That
Good
does
for
it.
us.
Okay. Good for
The
us.
Phixated podcast grew 64% this year.
Look at that. Look at that.
Look at us.
64%. Thank you guys.
At us.
Who would have thought?
So
64%.
Mechanicsburg,
growth.
Pennsylvania, our most popular city. 263 downloads.
Oh.
Our next couple, Philadelphia with 170, Harrisburg with 149, York, Pennsylvania with 99, and Lancaster with 86. Funny note, if you listen to the two-way miss, our most popular city was Hamburg, Germany with 180 downloads. Huge in Germany, apparently.
You guys are worldwide.
The two-way miss. Huge. Again, here you go. 4 countries that we've been downloaded in. The U.S., the United Kingdom, Denmark, and Mexico. There you go.
I love that.
Who'd have known?
I love that.
Our
Worldwide.
top episodes this year. We're just going to do the top 5. Episode 73, Azzy is a bit emotional. This was around when you were leaving your principal job. I believe this was after they showed you a very long video with some cameos, maybe from some Notre Dame head coaches and other things like that.
Yeah.
And we recorded after that. Episode
what was
70.
the date of that episode?
Oh, man.
Do you know?
Episode 7.
Oh, it doesn't say.
No, I'll get it
All
for
right.
you. I'll get it for you. Hold on. Episode 73. That was January 12th, 2023.
Okay. Yeah.
The one right before that, episode 72, NFC East Champs Go Birds, January 8th. Episode 87, Philly season preview with Alex Coffey. Shout out Alex. One of our favorite people.
Yeah, we gotta bring someone new on for this
We
one.
do. Episode 74, it's simple, go Birds. I believe that was our Super Bowl preview podcast.
That would make sense.
Or no, it was just before that. And then episode 78, Super Bowl preview part 1, Crossing Enemy Lines. We had Chiefs fans friend Kyle. It's your Chief fan Kyle on. So, Phixated Podcast 2023. 64% growth, 3,281 episodes in 4 countries in 67 episodes, 4,754 minutes we recorded for the podcast.
Wow. What a year.
Which brings our grand total for downloads, 4,953.
That's pretty darn good, man.
Almost hitting 5K.
That's pretty darn good.
Pretty cool.
Good times for us, man. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Very proud of us. Thank you to all of you continuing to listen. And I mean, crazy. Just crazy.
Had a blast. Every minute of it.
I know that one of the goals was to get the website up and going, and I kind of, that was on me. I got caught up in this other writing, journey.
You had to
so
worry about
hopefully,
this other thing.
Hopefully this year I can get that going and get some actual content to put out there to the people. Also, if you're still listening right now, but if you followed us on Twitter before, this is important to say. I was going to say this at the beginning of the show. We had to reset the Twitter.
We did.
So what you followed before is no longer what tweets. So we restarted it, and right now we only have 3 followers. So boost the follower count for us. It is at the Phixated Pod. So it's the whole at the Phixated.
We got the. We're official now. We got the.
It used to be podcast.
It used to be Phixated Pod. No the.
Oh, okay. All right. So now it's the Phixated Pod.
That's right.
So go ahead and follow that. Boost that up for us. Let's try and get that.
It'll be in the pod description, so you can follow it. You can click the link there. There was a weird issue with getting into the old one. The password didn't work anymore. We couldn't reset it. So went ahead and just reset the whole account. And we've made a commitment that we're going to tweet from this account more.
Right.
It's one of our big goals for this year is to make sure we're tweeting from the actual pod account a lot.
Yeah, but we need you to follow it.
Yes.
So get on there, follow it, retweet it, get other follow it.
We will retweet from our personal accounts the pod.
Yes.
So you can, if you're just looking for it, you can find it there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Which while we're at it, at the mic drop, at Big Regz with it. But yeah, we're making that a goal. We're gonna continue our consistency. Really making the this year. And trying to get more guests. I think we didn't do that a whole lot this year. Really this year. Well, Rube, right? Was Rube this year or last year? Rube was last year.
Rube was last year.
Yeah, he was last GM meetings.
Right.
Yeah. So we're gonna work on getting some more guests on here. That's a goal this year. If we get like one a month, it'd be sweet. Figure out how we do that, but we'll see. Otherwise though, man, good year.
Hey, listen, the fact that I just said we had almost 3,000 plus downloads.
Yeah, it's wild.
Is wild. Again, because nobody knows who I am.
No one knows me either.
Well,
Just a
you're
guy.
an award famous best-selling author, so I don't know about that. But
there it is. There it is.
But to have only almost 5,000 downloads of a podcast in 136 episodes seems pretty good to me.
Seems pretty legit. It's pretty legit. Sure does. All right, everybody. Well, hey, listen. We appreciate it so much. I speak for both Regz and I when I say this has been awesome. We're not going anywhere.
Nope.
Heading into our 3rd full year.
That's right.
Of doing this. And we're going to keep on rolling right along. We grew 67% this year. So
that's right.
That's a huge deal. Let's grow another 67% next year. How's that sound? Let's do that. Could be a lot of fun.
I like it.
I like it a lot. Until we talk to you next Thursday, make sure that you are, checking out all the things that we have to offer. like and subscribe to the channel. Let's boost that number too. And then follow where we told you to follow on Twitter. You can follow at B&B Podcast on Instagram. Follow at the Phixated fan page on Facebook, which that's a goal to get that back going again. And click the merchandise link in the show description below. We will check you guys on Thursday. Till then, I guess go Cowboys. Right now they're winning.
That's right.
I don't know. Whatever happens in the last 8 minutes.
I don't want to say go Cowboys on the end of a pod.
No,
It seems dirty.
yeah, no. I guess if you win, cool. If you don't, also cool. But really, have a great new year. Have a healthy new year. Take care of yourself. Take care of one another. We love you guys. Go Birds.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in the new year.
Oh, my God. Deep to right field. Way up there and way out of here.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.